Thank you, everybody, for joining. So I'm very excited to talk amongst these partners that we have here, both amongst the students and professors. I think when we look at all of the challenges that we have ahead of us, it's really important for us to be humble and realize that there's lots of IQ points in the world today around how to sort of solve sort of a multitude of challenges that we face in an industry under pressure. So one of the things that attracted me to join GM a couple of years ago was this idea of trying to take our fate in our own hands in terms of how General Motors needs to transform. And Mary had this line about needing to disrupt ourselves before we get disrupted. I think you heard from Eric and David talking about a lot of the sort of changes and economic pressures. And even if we look at the Toronto growth rate of getting to maybe 9 million people by 2041, so if you don't like the congestion in our city now, try to fast forward a few years and see what that might be like if we don't try to solve for that, city-to-city commuting times. So one of the visions that we've been talking about internally that has been a huge driver for the investments we've made and the partnerships that we've sought out has been this idea of a 000 vision. So the idea of zero crashes, zero congestion, and zero emissions. So let me just take them quickly one by one and give you a sense of why this is relevant to what we're doing in Toronto, but why it's important for us to understand it in the context of this sort of AutoShow audience. So we have announced that by 2023, we are going to have 20 models of electric vehicles. The Chevy Bolt, which our autonomous vehicle is based on, as is the AutoDrive vehicle, is one of the first in that class. It has been well awarded. It's extended the range that was previously impediment to people thinking about an electric vehicle as their main car. And it continues to be a leader for us, but we haven't stopped there. And we're looking at much more investment into the electric vehicle range and making it profitable for us to produce more and more. The second point is this idea of zero crashes. And in this, there are many things that we do today in our vehicles with automated driving assistance systems, but also into the sort of more fully autonomous modes. And I'm going to share with you sort of why we think our approach is a little bit different. We believe in this marriage of hardware and software. So the fact that we acquired a company out of the valley called Cruise Automation, but we paired it with our understanding of the high regulatory standards, the specifications and manufacturing to make all of the sensors work together right off the assembly line is really a crucial part that's going to inspire trust from the general public as well as regulators. So I want to share with you a little bit of the sort of testing that we've done in some of the hardest environments, and I hope that we have a chance to bring this to the GTA as well. But this gives you a sense of why we test in more urbanized environments where congestion and crashes are an issue. So maybe some of you would notice what's missing in this picture. There is no steering wheel. There are no pedals in this particular version. So I'm going to run this brief video from Cruise in San Francisco. So I'm going to just talk over a little bit of what you're seeing. This video you can find on YouTube. I've been in the back of this particular Bolt AV, autonomous vehicle. And imagine if you've never driven in San Francisco, some of the things that you might encounter. This is a lane of double and triple parked cars. My own experience in one of my test drives was somebody in a pickup truck who decided to have cones in the back of his car, and he was stopping in the middle of an active lane, and he put a cone behind his car and in front of his car, and he made himself a parking spot. So, these are the types of edge cases and conditions that we need to be able to do to be able to launch a commercial version of a robo-taxi. And so we are looking for not just the warmer climates and the sort of, wide open spaces. We are trying to really test safely with safety drivers to find out all of these different conditions. And this is still in self-driving mode. You've got pedestrians going back and forth. You've got cars, again, double and triple parked. So if you want to see the full version, I encourage you, go to the Cruise Automation YouTube channel. You'll see this and a lot more versions, including encountering raccoons at night in San Francisco. So we believe that we need to bring forward some of this research and testing into cars that are available today. And if you go into the South Hall of the Auto Show, you will actually see the CT6. This is the Cadillac that has a system called Super Cruise, which is our entry, a rival to Autopilot, but has been awarded by many journalists as one of the top technology introductions because it allows for true hands-free driving. It uses a driver monitoring system to make sure that you're paying attention to the road, but on divided highways, it allows you to actually be more relaxed, drive hands-free, and it will actually maintain your speed, position within the lane, and distance from the cars in front of you. And so you'll see a lot of this in the future as we look at the future of urban mobility and how we can make it safer right now in 2019 as well. So we don't think that it is all about passenger cars and trucks. We think that there are other ways that we're going to be able to solve for congestion in our cities. And certainly one of them is something that we launched just a couple days ago, and that is our newest brand. It is called Arrive. It is an electric bicycle that was designed and engineered in Ontario. So this is something that I've been quite proud of. I'm a cyclist in the city, in part because I believe in multimodalities and getting around a little bit quicker and efficiently. I don't mind switching from car to bike and walking and TTC when I need to. But we believe that the electric bicycle, for instance, is going to be something that helps people fill the gap between areas where they're not necessarily well served sitting in traffic and perhaps getting to work in a way that maybe leaves them slightly less sweaty. So the other interesting brand that we've launched in the past few years has been called Maven. And Maven is right here in Toronto, a car share brand. And we have many of our different cars in the fleets, including Yukons and Chevy Cruises. And so you can get sort of a car for every need and purpose, and allows people who maybe don't own a car or maybe need an extra car part of the time to be able to do that in using some of these safety systems that they may not have been able to afford if they had to own a car. So we're quite proud of this particular brand. And you'll see more to come in terms of peer-to-peer car sharing. So if you buy a GM vehicle, we've started rolling this out in various cities in the US. That vehicle that you've bought, if it's 20 and 15 and newer, you'll actually be able to put that as part of a shared fleet called Maven Peer, and you can actually make money off that vehicle when you're not using it. So I work most often out of our Markham location, where we actually have in the neighborhood of 600 engineers. We are well on the way to hiring up to 1,000 engineers in Canada who are furthering this type of innovation so that we can continue to design, engineer, and build in Canada. We're quite proud of this, and that group of people continues to be inspiring to me and some of the challenges that we look at solving. One of the things that we talked about is we're blessed with crappy weather in this country. One of the things that we do quite rigorously is we test in snowy weather in Kapuskasing. I know that Keenan, tests here in Toronto where it seems to resemble Kapuskasing in the last couple of weeks in terms of the amount of snow that we've received. And a lot of the e-bike team is also in Oshawa working at the Canadian Technical Centre there. So a great footprint. Now, in Toronto proper, we've actually announced that we're building a urban mobility lab. GM's mobility lab will be on Eastern Avenue in an area that used to be known as the Film District. You'll see everything from a more modern type of car dealership to people working on urban mobility solutions. And there's lots of activity happening in that waterfront area, and we think it's a great place for us to look at tackling the future. So maybe I'll wrap up there with this slide where I just want to highlight all of the great universities, the professors doing research, the students who are looking for interesting jobs to make an impact on the world. Ontario's got a great future in terms of being able to have the type of talent. And if we do this successfully, we're going to be able to work together to actually put solutions on the road right here in Ontario and Toronto. So thank you very much.